Well, hello, and welcome, my Taurus collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Welcome to your Twin Flame contract read, for February 2020, but timeless whenever you are supposed to see it. I am your reader, Angelo Lyons, Mel for short, president of DrawingTheCircle Productions, professional witch, professional intuitive, and really happy to be doing these readings. Well, sort of happy. They're twin flamey, which I will explain in a minute. If you are new to my channel, please do like and subscribe. I'm making my way to 1,000 subscribers so that I can monetize and do super live chat, and promising my subscribers for the first couple of months on super live chat, I will do a little ditty called Drunk Tarot. Did a video about it. It's in the description box below, along with a bunch of other videos you may want to check out before this reading if you have not already. So go have a look-see-dooksy, and I will get to those other videos in un momento. That being said, this is a general reading. Please take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Can't please all the people all the time. You learned that the hard way growing up. And considering I started reading cards when I was 12 years old, and I'll be 52 in September. I am a Virgo, my beloved Earth sign brothers and sisters. You can get learning the hard way, right? We can learn the hard way. Can't please all the people all the time, so that's why I do Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs for the twin flame reads, the soulmate reads, pretty much all the zodiacal series that I do, which seems to be all I've been doing lately is zodiacal series. So you can check your other signs. That's why I try and keep them as informative and fun as possible, so they're interesting, right? So that you can kind of get other pieces of the puzzle, which, by the way, for example, I'm a Virgo, but I find when I watch a reading on YouTube, if I go with the Pisces, because I'm a Pisces moon, just makes more sense. So you got to find what works for you. Different readers are going to read different aspects. Cool. So let's talk quickly about twin flames. What are twin flames? Well, it's in the description box. It is a type of soul contract, usually confused with soulmate. They're not the same thing. Twin flame contracts are tumultuous. They are turbulent, and they're tricky, but they are transformative, and they are necessary on the spiritual path. These are the relationship contracts that teach you how to love yourself, that teach you how to set boundaries. They're usually toxic, right? There's usually a toxic element, and nor do you only have one per lifetime, and nor are they always romantic, sexual. My father was my twin flame. Well, one twin flame, I should say, contract that I had in this life. Loved each other dearly, but we just could not give each other what we wanted. This is the joke, but it's funny because it's true in retrospect. He really wanted a heterosexual Republican Catholic for a son. Sort of got that in my brother a little bit. Matthew, I'm Matthew. He's Matthew, I'm Mark. There would have been Luke and John, right? No, he got a gay pagan liberal. So bless his soul. It crossed over when I was a teenager. Loved him dearly, but it was because of our relationship that I learned how to heal myself, went on my spiritual path, went to therapy, studied psychology, right? Inner child work out the fucking wazoo, right? So I would not be here today without that twin flame contract, right? And let's face it, in terms of the romantic stuff, nothing hurts more than a romantic twin flamer, passionate as fuck, so hot, so spicy, but you can't give each other what you want, but you do deliver what the soul needs, and that usually sucks. It's just gonna say, having just gotten out of a 20-year twin flamer myself, right? So that's what these readings are for. They're contract reads. It's looking at the dominant twin flame relationship in your life. Dominant meaning the one that you most need to look at for either this month of February 2020, January, February, or timeless whenever you come to it. Cool. Now, please just pause if you have not watched the videos. I did one called Clarifying Twin Flames, Soulmates, and True Lovers, but that was inspired by the video right underneath it. Soul Contracts, Twin Flames and Soulmates Redefined by KAHN. Please go watch them. These readings will be so much more helpful if you understand that point of view, because if you're thinking that your true love is your one romantic sexual partner that's throughout lifetimes, forever, never, finally in this lifetime, that's not the definition we're looking at. That's a soulmate. That's a sexual romantic soulmate, and that's why I do those readings completely separate, right? Go have a look. Twin flame soulmate, not the same thing. We good? Cool, cool. In order to look at the contract, we're going to be having divine feminine cards on this side and divine masculine cards on this side, just to differentiate party number 1 and party number 2 in any contract. It's easier to do it that way. And everybody calls it divine feminine and divine masculine on YouTube. I would prefer divine yin, divine yang, because I like my Eastern philosophies, less body parts, so to speak. But that's the language we're using. It has nothing to do with bodily gender. Lastly, please remember to breathe. The more we consciously breathe during any spiritual process, practice, what have you, healing modality, focusing in the present moment on the breath costs nothing to do. It's just a matter of awareness. The more in the present moment we are, the more we can align with the truth of divinity, which is always, always, always here now, right? Always in the present moment. To find that still point. That's where this reading is coming from. That's what I tune myself to when I read. That's where the clairvoyant, empathic, clairaudient, all that's coming from. So if you're tuning to that simultaneously, even though we are separated by time and space, it's still the same eternal now. Cool, cool. Let's do this, my Taurians. I love you so much. Take a nice deep breath. Let's look at your most dominant, most important twin flame contract that you need to have a look-see-duck-see at. Here we go. Exhale. Inhale. Still point. My collective pantheons of angels, goddesses, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved, please, 2 cards. One for the divine feminine and one for the divine masculine in this Taurus collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame contract for February 2020, but really whenever they watch it, whenever anybody's supposed to see it, please. In the collective, for the Taurians, show me 1 archetype card for the divine feminine and 1 archetype card for the divine masculine. By the way, all the cards that I read are in the description box below, but they are at the bottom, so you have to go and look through everything else, because I got a lot of cool shit on there. The books I wrote are on there. There's videos, workshops. You can take all sorts of shit. Prolific Virgo, sun sign. So who are we dealing with here? Well, for the divine feminine, we've got the dilettante archetype, and for the divine masculine, the teacher archetype. Very, very interesting, because you have sort of like an amateur and a professional, but let's have a look-see-duck-see. The dilettante archetype is, for the divine feminine here, is in the creative family of archetype, where the divine masculine teacher is in the wisdom family of archetypes. So creative and wisdom family can be a very, very interesting blend, but considering it's a twin flame contract, let's go a little bit deeper here. Now, every archetype is light and shadow, essentially neutral when you do the math, right? Kind of the positive cancels out the negative and vice versa. So it's really about what percentage is the divine feminine and the divine masculine. Where are they at in terms of percentage of shadow to light? I prefer lead to gold, the language of alchemy. Same metaphor, I suppose. But remember then, the twin flame contract is to teach each of them how to heal their own stuff while the other is triggering the fuck out of them. Got it? Transformative, tricky, turbulent, twin flames. Let's have a look-see-duck-see. So we're starting with the divine feminine, dilettante, right? Now, dilettante is usually only spoken of in the shadow, but its light is really delightful too, as is the case with any archetype. The shadow attribute, pretension to much deeper knowledge than you actually possess, which is where I learned the word. That means like, dilettante, right? Somebody who just has no idea what the fuck they're talking about, usually in terms of the arts. Yeah, like people who are critics of stuff that they have no idea about. It's like, I don't know, I just don't like it. Well, that's fine, that's an opinion, but that's an opinion. I guess that's what comment sections are for. So the light attribute delights in the arts without having to be a professional, right? It's like, I love the ballet, I love dance, I used to be a dancer, but I don't consider myself a professional dancer anymore. I used to be. And actually a professional dancer had nothing to do with pole dancing, though there's nothing wrong with it. Yes, I could have Chippendaled. not what the gods wanted. But just saying that, you know, that's a beautiful thing. Someone, like, I delight in sushi and the culinary arts. I'm not a chef, right? So I'm a dilettante in the cooking world. I love it, and I can cook. Doesn't make me a genius chef, right? Alerts you to the danger of becoming superficial in your own pursuits, right? So a dilettante can, even in its lightest form, be aware of, it's like, you know what, I'm not really into this relationship as much as I should be or think I am, or they are pretending to be so. Just saying. And remember, this need not necessarily be a romantic sexual deal. Particularly, this could easily be a literal teacher and student vibe. Let's have a look at the divine masculine teacher. Now remember, this can be a female. Remember, the gender we're talking about here is more in terms of energetic dynamic. I really am more of a divine feminine. I'm empathic. Look what I do for a living, right? I'm very sensitive. I've got a Pisces moon. I'm Virgo. There's a lot of feminine energy, even symbolically, in my astrological chart. That wouldn't make me only a divine feminine. In romantic sexual relationships, I tend to be the daddy top of things, which is weird because I have no gag reflex. Go figure. But I am a teacher, so let's read this teacher archetype, because I think we know the shadow side of the teacher if you've ever had one. Shades of Pink Floyd The Wall coming back, haunting me from my subconscious mind. The shadow attribute of the teacher: manipulating or abusing students. Can't have your meat if you haven't. You can't have your pudding if you haven't eaten your meat. Teaching negative traits and destructive skills, right? Like how to hurt yourself, how to hurt other people. You know, not great. We get the shadow side of the teacher because we've all been exposed to it, I bet. The light attribute: ability to communicate knowledge, experience, skill, or wisdom. So it's very much about the communicating it, right? You do not have to be in front of a chalkboard to be a teacher, right? You can be an instructor. You can be in like a corporate trainer, right? Or you can just be somebody who can talk somebody through a process so that they learn it for themselves. So teachers come in all sorts of different ways. There are many people who are teachers who would never consider themselves teachers. So keep that in mind. Sometimes the literal, oftentimes the literal idea of an archetype makes it impossible for people to look at it in another way where they're like, oh, I do have that one. Cool, cool. So a dilettante and a teacher, what we're going to do is pull some cards to clarify what is it that each of them have to heal, but particularly we're going to start looking at the contract itself by using the Chuck Spezzano Love Pack. Half the deck is the suit of problems, because we want to know what's the lead, what's the problem, what needs to be healed here. And the other half of the deck is the suit of luck, healing, and grace, which are sort of things to help you heal it, right? In love, divine love. This course is very this deck is very Course in Miracles based, I've noticed. Well, I'm a student and teacher of Course in Miracles, so I catch the language in the book, although I don't think it comes right out and says it in this version. So we're going to start with the shadow first. We're going to shart with the problem, which is probably how things get sharted in the first place. Take a nice deep breath, my Taurians. We're going to ask the Ascended Masters for clarity here. What's the problem in this twin flamer? Nice deep breath. Exhale. Inhale. Still point. Oh, my Masters, please, one card in clarity for this Taurus collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame contract for February 2020 or whenever they catch this. Please, what is the problem? What is the problem? Ooh, we have a flipper in this twin flame contract. It's the second time that's happened today in a different deck. Somebody's using somebody. Now, a teacher using a dilettante using a teacher, both of them using each other, both of them using other people. We don't know. That is what happens in a collective reading. If you were my client and sitting across from me, I would be able to tune right into you and tune into this other person, because I would say, just give me their first name and their sun sign if you know it. I could get some info, particularly when it comes to somebody's using somebody. Now, okay, here comes the clairvoyant, clairaudient. Could be using drugs, could be using anything, could be using external source. But if you look at the card, it's somebody walking on the heads of others to get somewhere, right? Getting over. right? Dropping names if necessary, using. Now, that could be the shadow side of either, and maybe that's what both of them have in common, this being a what? Twin flame reading. Maybe you're both using people, or maybe you have. Maybe you've been used. I mean, who hasn't, right, at a certain age? Which is why we're going to ask the very same deck and the very same masters, the masters of twin flame contracts, a piece of luck, a piece of healing, or a piece of grace here. My masters, one card in clarity for this Taurus collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame contract for February 2020 or whenever they watch it, please. One card in clarity. What say you? Got a card of luck, but it's an interesting card. The card of come hither. So there's definitely an attraction here that probably is not romantic sexual. That's what I like about this deck in particular. Not all of them are spot on, but there's like a card of romance, right? And there's a card of the erotic and a card orgasm, right? So that's helpful as a reader to help put some context there. But come hither is definitely about temptation of some kind, like something saying, come hither, come hither. A magnetic draw, something that you are drawn to, unless you are, here's some interesting grammar, the come hither, unless you're the magnetic. Now that could be going on here. The dilettante could be very, very drawn by the come hither of a teacher, right? It's like, well, I don't know too much about it, but I'd be awfully interested in finding out what you have to teach me, right? Without wanting to go too deep. Or, by the way, the come hither could come from the dilettante with the teacher saying, oh, I've got so much that I could teach you. Oh, my God, I could take you so much deeper. With an energy, a problem there of using. You with me? You see what we're dealing with now? Right now. What I like about this spread this time is really, if you're not resonating at this point in your body with this, it's not your read, right? I like this. I hope we keep this for the twin flames from now on, because that makes it very, very clear, 4 cards down, if this reading is for them or not. And if you're still not sure, don't worry. We're doing 3 cards from the Daughters of the Moon for the Divine Feminine, past, present, future. Same thing with the Mythic Tarot for the Divine Masculine. Cool. I got you covered. I'm a Virgo. I get you your deets. I'll get you your details. But let's take a nice deep breath as we ask the Divine Feminine, the voice of the goddess, the voice of the goddesses, right? Half of the universal energy, the Divine Feminine, right? Nice deep breath. Still point. That's so cool. Because it's Taurus, it's that fixed earth. Ooh, I'm back. My goddesses. Please, that was lovely. 3 cards, past, present, future, simple timeline for this Divine Feminine Dilettante archetype in this Taurus collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, twin flame contract for February 2020. Please, where has she been in this twin flame contract? The past. Where is she now here in this twin flame contract? And where is she headed? The future in the twin flame contract. Just push you out of the way a little bit. Because I'm going to do the same for the Divine Masculine so that we have all 6 on the table, and I'll just read them straight across. Breathe. Still point. My gods, please, the Divine Masculine energy of all that is 3 cards, past, present, future, simple timeline for the Divine Masculine teacher in this Taurus collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, twin flame contract for February 2020 or timeless. Please. 1 card for the past, where has he been in this contract? 1 card for the present, where is he now in this contract? And 1 card for the future, where is he headed in this contract? For the well-being of all, let's have a look-see. Dooksy. Sorry, I'm just being a little Virgo anal with positioning, because I like to see a little symmetry, even though they're 2 different shaped cards. Doesn't drive me as crazy as you think it would. Where's the Divine Feminine Taurus been, this dilettante archetype? How interesting. Capricorn, really a sign of the teacher in a way. Now, this is not an actual person, certainly could be. Someone, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, whoever, whatever, could be this teacher themselves. Again, this is going to play itself out differently depending on who's watching this. But this is really about lessons learned the hard way. So this dilettante really has been around, and I don't necessarily mean sexually, but that they've had to climb a mountain. Capricorn is the mountain goat, so not even a mountain goat runs up a mountain, right? It's slow and steady wins the race. It's Capricorn, which is Saturn, which is the teacher of hard knocks, limits, limitations, boundaries, but all of those things that are usually created over time. Like I said, slow and steady wins the race. Ruled by the planet Saturn, which is the god Saturn, which is Kronos, the father of the Olympians. Kronos as in time. Now, Chronos as we consider it now, but Kronos if you want to look at the Greek god, the Titan of Earth, brother, husband of Rhea, Rhea, who kind of has her own lineage and cult as well. Something to look at. That coming from, yes, perhaps a strong, solid place, but one that has been earned. So for a dilettante, this is somebody who's got some sort of stability under her belt. Just saying her because it's divine feminine, can obviously be a male, as I keep repeating over and over, but something that has been developed over time. Even if they've been in relationship after, maybe this is, twin flamer number 35 for them. Where are they now? Ooh, well, a new beginning. Ace of Pentacles, a new opportunity, something physical. Yes, can be action-oriented, though not necessarily indicated in this card by itself, but certainly coming from sort of like reach the top of one mountain and is at the foothills of the next. Lessons being learned, wisdom being gained, ready to step forward into the new, something brand new being presented. Where is she headed in this contract? Now, look, I'm going to say the word that's written on the card, but then I want to explain it, so don't conclusion jump too fast. Manipulation. But it's an air card, so we're talking about the mind. And it is the Six of Blades, the Six of Swords, if you will. The gondola, right? Going from turbulent water to smooth water. So there's an element of emotion in this card, usually at least done through the Rider-Waite. Here we see a card with no reversal, right? So no matter how it is, it's all about how you see it. So the manipulation of the mind, and keep in mind that is neutral, saying that there's one part of the dilettante here that can be manipulating her own mind, right? We got this card of using. Maybe her mind has been manipulated, or she undoes the manipulation. All right, but they want me to say it this way. Yeah, therapy and counseling. That's Six of Blades. Meditation, in a way, that's Six of Blades. Visualization, contemplation, or just plain old spin, right? Like the card spins, like political spin. How do you want to see it? Do you want to see it positive or negative? Because at the end of the day, there is no positive and negative. That's the illusion of separation. There is only, it just is. Everything is neutral in this world. It's the meaning we give to it. Because even what is negative and sucks today can be such a growing, beautiful, magnificent miracle tomorrow. And it takes a grain of sand in the belly of the oyster to make a pearl of wisdom. It's the truth. You're with me, though. You know what I mean? Truth and wisdom is cliche, right? It's like, it's still true. It's still the truth. Let's look at this divine masculine teacher. Where has he been? Oh, well, he has been hanging out, right? The hanged man. Some sort of sacrifice, perhaps a point of view, perhaps some loss of some kind, something taken away where it had to be surrendered. But what I always love about the Hanged Man card, regardless of the artist or the interpretation or the placement, is that they're not hung by the neck, they're hung by the foot, right? Or the knee or the leg in some way. So it's voluntary, right? But sometimes it just doesn't feel voluntary. Sometimes it feels like the universe has put your life on pause, right? So you just have to hang out and wait. Now, how willingly do you go along with that? Right? The word will, throat chakra, interesting, willpower, not hung by the neck, hung by the foot. Even going back to Odin, right? Got the runes, hanging himself upside down, plucked out an eye on the world tree Yggdrasil to receive the runes and other visions. Something had to be given up. So for a teacher, in the recent past, or at least in this contract where they've been, having to really look at this relationship differently, having to see it differently than perhaps what they have experienced before. Bringing them to the present moment, which interesting is the Six of Pentacles, really assessing the fairness here. Now we've got a Six of Blades here in the future for the dilettante. So here for the present, the teacher perhaps looking at this differently and saying, well, is this fair? Is this balanced? Is somebody giving more to one than to the other? And I think that's a fair and wise approach, right? Not necessarily looking to be unfair. But leading to the Three of Cups. Now this is the marriage, the wedding of Cupid, Eros in the Greek, and Psyche, where we get the word psychology from. Psyche meaning of the soul, literally. Her name in Greek, soul, is Psyche, goddess of purity. Well, she went through an awful lot to get married to him eventually, but this is the first marriage, in a way, the one unapproved by the gods. She hadn't seen his face yet. They were married, and she never saw what he looked like. That's why you can't really see it in this card unless they stretch like that. He's hovering behind her. But she loved him so much. She just loved him so much, and he was struck by one of his own arrows, by the way. They're golden lead arrows. I love my Olympians, but man, the tchotchke is so powerful. But oi, such a pain in the ass sometimes. Midsummer Night's Dream. You talk about arrows being loosed, hitting the wrong flower. So here we've got this Three of Cups moment coming from them. So there is affection. There is affection here in this twin flame contract. There is the emotional joy and celebration, which can lead me to think that this may not be romantic sexual in and of itself. Not that all romantic sexual, look, I'll try and say this in every reading that I can remember to say it, or if they remind me. You can be married to somebody in a twin flame contract, and in fact I think a lot of married people that have been married for a while are probably in twin flame contracts, and I see them all the time where one partner is like super hyper spiritual and the other one couldn't care less. Not that that's a bad thing, but you can't give each other what you need. You're forcing each other to learn and grow on your own. Now if you can accept that in a marriage agreement, right? Like, oh, I get it. So I am free to really explore this on my own, unless it's abusive, right? Unless really it's toxic. In which case, I don't care the structure of the relationship, whether it's romantic or family or whatever. If someone is abusing you, you're out. You're out. It cancels all contracts. Abuse, neglect, codependence is something that, yes, well, all of it can be healed eventually. But if you are being beaten, if you are being beaten down, and I mean physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, get the fuck out of there. Go anywhere else but there. That's the contract breaker for any soul contract. And sometimes that's how they are scheduled to be broken. Just saying. Not feeling that here, but putting it there because this is sort of a wedding card. It's the wedding of Cupid, Eros, and Psyche. So keeping that in mind here. With the manipulation, I'm not feeling anything really horrible going on here, but with this card of using, I'm wondering if this is somebody who's going to get married, and maybe to somebody else. Is this about being a side piece for the dilettante, who may very well just be like, oh, we could just dabble. Hey, look, nothing wrong with it. If that's what you negotiate, that's what's scripted, that's what's in the contract. Just know that I can feel this playing out in a family situation, in a work situation, in a work educational situation, as well as in a romantic sexual kind of something going on there. Just saying. All right, what we're going to do now, just for shits and giggles, not really, we're going to ask the angels what each of these beings have with them. What is the Healing with the Angels Oracle card, right? What angels are they walking with that they can help themselves heal what's going on within themselves, right? What's the contract about? Twin flame, say it with me. You teach each other how to heal, how to love, how to respect, how to set boundaries for yourself. Nice deep breath. Still point. My angels. 2 cards, please. One for the divine feminine, one for the divine masculine. What are the healing angels? What are the angels of healing, right? the healing with the angels oracle that they bring, that this divine feminine and divine masculine bring to this Taurus collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Twin Flame contract for February 2020 or timeless whenever they are supposed to see it, please. One for the divine feminine. So what's the angel that's walking with her? Good way to say it. And for the divine masculine, what's the angel walking with him? So this is how they're sort of healing themselves, right? Self-reflection. Well, okay, yeah, we've got our answer. This is romantic. Now, this could be, this dilettante is dabbling in romance, and this teacher could be a family member, like a mother or a father, whoever's saying, because he's got focus. Could be. But like I said, there are plenty enough cards in the decks that I use that could point out if this is romantic, and it does feel like the angel of romance, that this dilettante here may have come from something very, very stable, right? Might have really built up this wisdom, but now that there's something new here, but is needing to really think about it differently, coming in the future. That in terms of the romantic angel, the healing with the angels of romance, we are really looking at a possibility here of not just a commitment, because I'm looking at this Three of Cups, but if this teacher is already otherwise involved with somebody, this could be a third-party situation, and honestly, they're my least favorite readings. Having been in one, yeah, not so much fun. But for the divine masculine teacher here, we've got a focus. So an indication of as what to focus on, or maybe that's what the angel is teaching them, focus, right? What they need to heal within themselves is focus. Now, with this Hanged Man in the past, a willing to let go of something, a sacrifice being made to make balance and then move forward into really a card of celebration, a Three of Cups. And the Three of Cups is also about an emotional bond, right? Like make new friends, keep the old one, a silver, the other gold. That there is an emotional connection that's going to get stronger here as a result. But this card here is talking about focus, and this card here is talking about romance. What needs to be learned and healed here seems tricky and sticky because it is twin flame based. Let's ask the higher selves of all involved. I find this very, very, very interesting. And I did these out of order. Hold on one second. I just want to move that there. That makes more sense. I just put the cards in. I usually do. Well, it's only my second time doing this series, so it's okay. But there, teacher with focus, a dilettante with romance. Very interesting. Let's keep going. I'm gonna take a nice deep breath. Let's ask the higher selves of all involved. In other words, the higher self of the dilettante and the teacher. Only one card though for the contract itself, so both of them are gonna collaborate. Nice deep breath. Still point. The higher selves of all involved, please. One card in clarity, a whisper of love from the Whisper of Love Oracle. For this Taurus collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, twin flame contract. For February 2020, they're timeless because this feels very, very, yes, now I get the romantic part of it, the come hither, I get that there was a sacrifice made here for the teacher, but now is being asked to focus on the Six of Pentacles, the fairness that moves them to a Three of Cups. Like maybe they can remain friends. Either that, or here we're looking at this dilettante with this romantic angel here, coming from a place of perhaps some hardships, stuff to endure, but that sees this as a new beginning, this Ace of Pentacles, but that will end in that future card, a mental manipulation with that card of using. I'm going to say be very, very careful. Be very, very careful. So please, the higher selves of all involved, we need a direct whisper of love here to clarify this for this Taurus collective. Let's look. Look at your pattern in relationships, all right? So it's saying self-reflection. You both need to look at your pattern in your relationships. It requires inner strength to recognize that you need to change or modify your behavior. Now look, I know Taurians can be stubborn as fuck. I love Taurians though. I've never met a Taurus I didn't get along with. I think earth signs, like any of the elemental groups, right? Fire, earth, air, water, y'all pretty much get along with your own element. But my God, the passion that they can have, they really only, y'all only have 2 speeds, stop and go, right? There's not even any like slowly warming up. That's as far goes. We're mutable, we'll take our time. This is really saying stop and take a look, that there is a pattern, if not already repeating here, here is an opportunity that if you're going to use the relationship as an opportunity to look at your own patterns. How is this playing out? Now, that would make sense for the Divine Feminine because she's got that card of manipulation there, right? Of kind of spinning it in her mind. And for the teacher to actually learn from this, right? To focus on what are you teaching, my teacher? What are you learning here? And that it can be brought to this 3 of Cups. Now this feels a little different for some in the collective here, and I hope it's the majority, where it's like, you know what, let's be friends. Let's not take this to the romantic place if we really can't give each other what we need. Let's be fair about this. In other words, not every twin flame contract needs to be a total clusterfuck. But once that romance card showed up, then I felt it's like, ooh, be careful, be careful, be careful. Look at your patterns in relationship. It requires inner strength to recognize that you need to change or modify your behavior. And it feels like that's what needs to be done here, a modification of behavior. So what we're going to do, our last card down, and then we'll do an overview like I do with the larger readings. We're going to use the Healing Mantra deck by KAHN to get you 1 healing mantra card. I find doing more than that, like maybe for the soulmates I can do that, but for the twin flame, this will help either the Divine Masculine or the Divine Feminine who's ever watching this heal themselves. In other words, you're not here to help heal the other person. You can't help them heal. But you heal you. You heal you. Learn what you can from this, right? So this will be applicable for both Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine. Nice deep breath. Exhale. Inhale. My masters of twin flame contracts, please, from the still point. 1 card in clarity for this Taurus collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, twin flame contract. For February 2020, though timeless, a healing mantra, the most helpful, the most truly helpful for this Taurus collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, twin flame contract. February 2020, please, oh please, oh please. I'm feeling this for you, my earth sign brothers and sisters. Opening my mind is the name of the mantra. On the other side is the mantra itself. I allow myself to see beyond my beliefs and ideas. I allow myself to see beyond my beliefs and ideas. And I'm going to read it from the book, Opening My Mind. But to give you the mantra, I allow myself to see beyond my beliefs and ideas. And I get why that is. Let me just read what's here in the book, then I'll do your overview and comment further. Opening my mind. Opening my mind. I allow myself to see beyond my beliefs and ideas. When your mind opens, you are no longer limited by fearful beliefs or at odds with your own healing journey. With an open mind, you are aware of a bigger cosmic picture where your personal life ushers in your highest potential by uplifting the consciousness of humanity. In other words, as you're healing this and uplifting your own consciousness, because we are all manifestations of the quantum field, which your mind may not be open to just yet, you are healing that for everybody. In other words, we're all in this together. It's not that we're cut from the same cloth. There's only one cloth. We're not even cut. We only appear to be separate. As your mind opens, life is not just centered around your personal gains and losses, but shining your light for the well-being of all, wherever you happen to be. So it's sort of saying that if you can look bigger, I allow myself to see beyond my beliefs and ideas. That both of you can have a belief about what this relationship is and where this relationship is going. Obviously one of romance here, but one that the teacher really has to focus on with those angels things, but to really look at your patterns of relationship, that if you can see this as, oh my goodness gracious, we may love each other very much, but we're never going to be able to give each other what it is that we really want. But how can we do this in a way that is a blessing upon all involved, even those we don't know and never will meet? There's the quantum for you. This mantra is ideal for ending the inner negotiation with the ego. Should I, shouldn't I, should I, shouldn't I? Unraveling self-sabotage and confronting the inevitability of loss. And I feel like that's the thing here, that there is inevitability of loss in every relationship, because sooner or later somebody dies, right? The 3 Ds, distance, divorce, or death. I've been through all three. Well, not legal divorce, but you get what I mean. Death, people die, right? And distance. And distance, either somebody moves away, which those are heartbreaking, but sometimes the distance, you're sitting in the same room, but there's a chasm there, right? So I allow myself to see beyond my beliefs and ideas. For this Taurus is the challenge, right? That is going to be the tricky, sticky wicket on this one. For any earth sign to see beyond what they believe to be true, whether we're looking at divine feminine or divine masculine here. So let's give you an overview with a magic clap. We start with the divine feminine. In the dilettante archetype, the shadow attribute, pretension to much deeper knowledge than you actually possess. Keep that in mind, considering I allow myself to see beyond my beliefs and ideas, my divine feminine dilettante. The light attribute delights in the arts without having to be a professional, alerts you to the danger of becoming superficial in your pursuits, which could be a conflict there, to be superficial, yet there is something here for you to learn, but that you might not get what you want because of the nature of the contract itself. You will, however, get what you need if you, pardon the words, the play on words, play your cards right, particularly because you've got the cards of romance here. You've got this romantic attraction going on here with that Capricorn stuff in the past. You might very well have the stability to walk through this. Just don't forget that. That's where you have been. That Capricornian long-term, something grew here, something durable, something long-lasting, and hopefully with clear, healthy boundaries, but bringing you now into the present moment with that Ace of Pentacles, a new beginning here in this contract. Maybe this is a repeat. Maybe you guys have done this before, and there's here they come again. Sorry, giving you a little Dolly, not so llama there, which would move anyone into a place of mental manipulation, of really trying to spin it in their minds, trying to figure it out, see the positive, see the negative, but hopefully navigating into more calmer, balanced emotional waters because of the 6. Keeping in mind the dynamic between these two, we've got the card of using and come hither, so that really does explain that mental back and forth going on here. Looking at the teacher archetype, we've got the shadow attribute, manipulating or abusing students. Now we've got the word manipulating and the word manipulation on the table here for the divine feminine dilettante, so that's a little tricky right there. Teaching negative skills and destructive teaching negative traits and destructive skills. So divine masculine, be very, very careful of your power as a teacher to teach things that really you shouldn't be, and that you're not manipulating and abusing this dilettante. Because the light attribute, ability to communicate knowledge, experience, skill, or wisdom. Perhaps the wisdom of, look, I've been in this situation before, or perhaps we have done this dance before, and this is what I have learned from it, right? Particularly with that card of the Hanged Man, sacrifice. Perhaps coming, if you two have done this before, that really there was a lot of sacrifice involved here, perhaps some pain and some suffering of having to really see things differently. But bringing this teacher to a place of 6 of Pentacles where there can be some kind of fairness, balance, equal give and take, somehow a balancing of the scales here, leading to the 3 of Cups, perhaps a more friendly, balanced, stable place within the teacher or within the contract itself, at least some clearly defined boundaries and understanding. Now, again, I'm looking at that card, the toxicity here, the problem card of using at the top here, with the luck card of come hither, that the attraction between the two of them, there is still something to be healed in each one of them, right? Otherwise, the contract would probably not be reactivated. Possibly one of them could have already healed and the other one still has something to heal. Blessed be if that's the case. But with the ongoing thing here of look at your pattern in relationships, that does feel like it's for both sides. Both higher selves chose that card. It requires inner strength to recognize that you need to change or modify your behavior, and really bringing it down to the Masters giving us the healing mantra here, opening my mind, that there needs to be a reevaluation here, seeing this beyond the boundaries. I allow myself to see beyond my beliefs and ideas, and it feels like for a very earthy sign like Taurus that there is really just some ideas here that need to be addressed and looked at, that otherwise this twin flame contract really has the ability to be resolved in a balanced Six of Blades way, and in a more emotionally stable, perhaps friendly Three of Cups foundation. So there we have it, my Taurian Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. This is a tricky contract, but twin flames are, which I've noticed the difference between this and the soulmate reads consistently. This is something that if you can just I allow myself to see beyond my beliefs and ideas, that you are going to heal much faster what you have to heal in this contract, so that you can both go into more soulmate-based contracts in your lives. Cool, cool. May the Taurus collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs be blessed with all that they need in their twin flame contracts for February 2020 and beyond, for all time, that they may heal, that they may grow, that they may become the best that they can be, that they may be loyal, that they may be true to themselves, that they may love themselves and be a blessing upon this world in all of their contracts for the well-being of all. Oh, and so it is. Thank you so much for watching, my Taurians. Please do like and subscribe. Again, check the videos in the description box below, particularly those ones redefining the contracts, twin flame and soulmate. Very, very important if you have not yet. Otherwise, help me get to my 1,000 subscribers. And we'll be glad to drunk tarot for you all. Cool, cool. Go watch that vid. Like I said, it's my favorite of 2019. Otherwise, wishing you the very best and the very blessed of your twin flame contracts in general, and for January, February 2020, whenever you are watching this, for the well-being of all. Wishing you, as I always do, farewell, and blessed, blessed be.